What's going on to you, Taurus? Hope y'all are having a great day. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, and then you have the Queen of Swords. So these three cards right here for you represents how a lot of you, Taurus, are a lot of you Taurus honestly are taking it easy. And what I mean by that is you're not. You're learning yourselves a lot better. You're learning how to actually not just socialize, but you're learning the game. You're studying, basically. You're learning how to understand the stuff that people don't say, as well as the things that people do also say as well. And the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords is about how, and since that's the case, it's making you better, you know? Part of what makes you better is knowledge. Especially in today's world, a lot of people don't like knowledge for whatever reason. You start talking to people about reading a book and, you know what I'm saying? And like having books and everything like that. It's like one of the reasons what makes a lot of people very rich is the fact that they read a lot. There's been studies, y'all know I'm a science guy. Y'all know that I'm the type of person to break down the science on y'all. There's been statistics that have shown that people who do more reading on average end up making more of a salary or end up making more on a yearly basis in general than people who don't read. So that even in on itself is what it is that I keep saying. Like when you start talking to people about reading and everything like that, and having knowledge, for some reason, I'm not even going to make it seem as if it's a lot of people, but for some reason, some people just don't like it. Right? For whatever reason. So, point that I'm trying to make here is there's a sense of just like you, Taurus, just being very much so self-aware, and you're gaining the, how do I say it? Like you're gaining the knowledge from it though. You're gaining the knowledge from it. And what I mean by that is the sense of like the knowledge in the sense of like how to not take things personally, right? How to start looking at things more instead of looking at it from an emotional only standpoint and looking at it from a perspective of like, okay, what is like grandized about it? What is obvious? You're also learning how to understand essentially what is not obvious. And that puts you in a whole different perspective for you to understand what is not obvious, because then you now want to understand what is obvious, right? And so the thing is that the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Wands, this represents you in a sense that both of them, in a sense that yes, you are open to get to know someone, but also you're very much so aware and essentially on point as to what's happening. And what I mean by that is, again, a person is gonna have to wake up pretty early in the morning to like play you. Now it's getting harder and harder too, because again, that is one of the benefits of you just understanding how to understanding how to socialize and the things that people say and how to tell a lie. Now, 100%. Now, again, this stuff is not 100%, but it does help, right? It does definitely help because it puts you in a position of knowing how to be more compassionate to the situation so that you understand, excuse me, what's really happening. And then you have the Eight of Pentacles, right? And the Eight of Pentacles represents how, but at the same time as well, it also puts you in a very powerful position where you're learning how to be independent, but the correct way. And what I mean by that is not ripping and running around and telling people some nonsense and offending people everywhere you go, but learning how to stand on your own strengths and also deal with your own weaknesses. Real leaders and stuff like this, they know how to, oh wow, my eye just cleared up right then and there. But real leaders know how to do that. Real leaders know how to essentially put themselves in positions, right, where they know how to essentially interact with themselves, right? They are aware of what's going on. They know how to stand on their own two feet. And that's part of what I do respect about real alphas, is that if, even though a real alpha needs a group, even when the real alpha doesn't have a group, they'll still stand on their own 2 feet for the time being, right? Even, it's not forever, but for the time being. And I respect it. You know, and that is the real form of independence. It's the fact that, you know, when the time arises, you can handle it. You can do what it is that you need to do instead of ripping and running around. You understand what I'm saying? And so because of that, that puts you in a very good position. So what am I saying with all of this? What I'm saying with all of this is that you're soaking up more game. You're learning how to maneuver in the world. You're understanding quietly, though, right? Well, now that I'm kind of saying it, but you're learning how to maneuver in the world the correct way, not in a way that's going to essentially get you jammed up, or maybe even draw a certain amount of attention to you. That's not what you're doing. You're learning how to interact in the real world from the perspective of how people move and how to maneuver, right? It's on some power stuff, as I talked about before, right? I've talked about Power, right? The TV series. But a lot of that stuff on Power, if you pay attention to it, is really about how to maneuver for the best of them, like Tommy and Ghost and stuff like that. It's really in the sense of like how to maneuver, how to move through the world undetected, without having to always put yourself in a messed up disposition. Now, I'm not saying obviously that you should do everything in Power. I never said that. What I'm saying is that that's how it is that a lot of you Taurus are learning how to maneuver. And so because of that, I'm learning that a lot of you Taurus are single. A lot of you Taurus are okay with the fact that you're single. You're not like crushing on anybody. Like I said before, you don't have a crush. You're not, you know, because when you have a crush, that puts you in a disposition of being weak, as I've said before. And people are like, okay, well, what's the difference between a crush and a person that you like? Well, there's a distinct difference. A person who is a crush is a person that essentially you like, but you'll essentially let take advantage of you, right? And a person that you like is a person that you will have a discussion with, talk to, hang out with, but you like them. And so personally, if you ask me, everybody got to get off of the crushing and more so into the liking, where there will have some form of action being taken. The Six of Cups represents, and this puts you in a very good position, because the Six of Cups is an ex or a person that looked at you and thought of you as some sort of romantic, made some sort of a romantic connection with you. It's coming back. But it speaks to the level of power and positioning that a lot of you Taurus are in, because you don't have any crushes. Like I said before, you're concentrating on everything that you Taurus need to do. And then you have the High Priestess. Oh, and then you have this person that came back, which is a representation of a spiritual test. It's a test to see if you're really serious about handling your business and moving forward, or if you are in a position where you're not necessarily really ready yet, and you need more time to have to go through the same lesson. You understand? So then you have the High Priestess and the Moon. High Priestess is Taurus and Sagittarius. And these two cards right here for you, Taurus right here, is about because you just don't see the point. You're honestly, you're just a lot more content with who you are, your disposition, what's going on. You're a lot more content with that. There's a sense of internal joy, real inner peace. There's a sense of real joy and real inner peace that's going on with you, where you feel great to be in the position that you're in. Even if you may not necessarily have anybody, a lot of you Taurus are still amazing because you have that internal peace. You're getting better. You're working on yourselves. And there's not this situation where it's like it's not the situation for you where it's like you're in a position of like, like somebody is coming in your life or somebody is in your life stressing you out, you know, trying to do everything that they possibly can to get you on your nerves, to control you, to get you in a position where you have to pay for them and do things and constantly be okay and put yourself at a loss or taking a L, right? Every time you interact with them. The moon represents you just ghosting. So specifically with the ex, yeah, you ghosted them. They contact you. They will contact you. They have contacted you. And you Taurus just essentially decided to ghost them because this is not that. This is not them breadcrumbing you back. This is a reading of you, Taurus, embracing your power, that your power, and I've talked about this before, is the fact that you bring a lot to the table and you understand that relationships are not guaranteed. No matter who you are, no matter how wonderful you are, relationships are not guaranteed. So because they're not guaranteed, what that means is the default pattern is having to learn to be good being by yourself, for real, because you're alone and you're by yourself, single more than you are in a relationship. So you have to become better with your default, right? What you automatically get into. And why that's important in the first place is because now that's the situation for you where you'd rather be single and have that internal peace and have things make sense than you rip and run around out here with a with a knucklehead that's causing you stress. And then you have the World and the Temperance. These two cards right here is about how a lot of you Taurus, you're protecting yourselves now, but you're not doing it from a perspective of like isolation. You're doing it from a perspective of you have a lot more thicker skin, right? You're able to endure a lot more. You have a lot more wisdom. You know what to brush off of your shoulder and let water be up underneath that bridge. And I've talked about this. I've talked about this a couple of times, but that's one thing that we got to really start learning how to do is to really let water be up underneath the bridge. You know what I'm saying? We got to start doing that more. I think, people are trying to be so caught up on some big boss person so much to the point where it makes us soft. It makes us a little bit too emotional. And emotions is not necessarily and inherently a bad thing, but it puts a real chink in our armor to where we can really be in a position to end up taking a lot of losses due to the fact that we don't know how to take criticism or like jokes. Like I was just on the phone with like a gym, right? A gym and stuff like this, because I'm really thinking about getting a gym membership or whatnot, because obviously I can afford it and everything, but just really thinking about the pros and the cons of it and stuff like this. And I'm thinking about how like, so I called the person, right? Well, I called the gym and the franchise gym or whatnot, and a representative picked up, right? Person who works there picked up. And I was like, hey, what's going on with you? Right? And I basically asked like, okay, you saying that you have training and stuff like this, but is it like weight training? Is it like weight training or martial arts training? I wanted to know if they have any kind of martial arts or whatever there or whatnot. It's time for me, like I said, it's time for me to kind of step back in the ring and stuff like this. And the person just kind of clowned on me a little bit. It was like, no, we don't have martial arts training here. And I just took that. I was just like, and I just laughed that off. And I was just like, oh, stupid me. Sorry about that, sir. You have yourself a good one. And that was that. A person who takes that and tries to be the big boss every minute of the day, regardless of who you are, what you into, that's what makes you soft. And you're not gonna have, and to go back to the reading to make this stuff make sense, because I know what I'm talking about, you're not gonna have internal peace that way. There's no way you're gonna have internal peace like that. You're not. You're gonna have to be okay with getting clowned sometimes a little bit. It is what it is, you know? So let's clarify the temperance. So once again, this is really about you, Taurus. This is your story, obviously. This is really about you, Taurus, making yourselves happy and doing what you need to do for you and making sure that you're looking out for your own self and really understanding and gaining that level of internal peace for yourself. So let's clarify the temperance. You have the Seven of Swords, the King of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Empress, and then you have the Three of Pentacles to clarify the temperance. So the Seven of Swords and the King of Cups, the Ace of Wands right here, represents how this is a situation for you where the temperance represents that internal peace, showing mercy as well to other people, learning how to not take things so personally, letting a lot of things go. And the thing is that the Seven of Swords and the King of Cups, again, you know where the line in the sand is, and you're able to now understand where's the line. So things that are not necessarily crossing the line, it's going to be easier for you to just brush off your shoulders, right? And again, you're learning how to take life and put it on your back with a lot less stress, right? You're basically, you got your life on your back, and you're basically able to actually weigh it, you know, and carry that load now, you know, better, easier. And then the thing is that the Ace of Wands, that Empress, and the Three of Pentacles represents with a lot more discipline. And regardless of whether or not you know, a person other people approve of it or not is irrelevant. You approve of what you're doing, and that's what matters. Other than that, that's pretty much it for now. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. I'm gonna be back tomorrow, so if y'all give me the most views, then I'll give y'all the first reading. So comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get the YouTube channel to over 100K subscribers. I got 15,690. And leave a comment as well. Peace.